Record. Whoa! Boom! 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 Hey, Vincent, Ashley, and everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook on the World Wide Web. Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame Wednesday Words. It's the first one of the year. It's the 4th of January 2023. Yeah. That's amazing, I think. That's, yeah, here we go, we've got someone else. Yay. I do believe Saul Cafarella is on his way. And Gabriel had a bit of marking to do tonight as well, so and we may even hear from who else we got. We got Paul's just been dragged in a very funky shirt. It's very spicy tonight. So yeah, let's begin by getting the show on the road and acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast, the Kamilaroi and the Board band by people. Acknowledge the continuing connection to the land of the elders past, present, emerging, and acknowledge sovereignty's never been ceded. Let's move on to poetry and what's happening in the world of poetry. Well, one of the things that is happening in the world of poetry is the Poems on the Move International Poetry Competition, which is run by the Guernsey Literary Festival. Now, Guernsey is a little island, part of the United Kingdom or Britain or whatever, and but it's closer to France. And they've in their 10th year of the Guernsey Literary Festival. I'll put the link to the Guernsey Poetry Competition, the International Poetry Competition. You can send it off in a PDF or a Word document according to the rules. It's £5 to enter the competition, and the maximum length is 14 lines, which is the length of a sonnet. Yeah, good luck to that, and I'll put the link in the description once I've uploaded the video here to YouTube tonight. The other thing that's happening, the Australian Bush Poets Association is, well, they're holding the National Bush Poetry Recital Championships there in Orange at the Banjo Patterson Poetry Festival from around about the 17th to the 23rd or 24th of February. So on the 23rd and 24th of February, I know they've got the poetry competition down there. I think entries close on the 13th or the 15th of February. Don't quote me on that, but just go to abpa.org.au and you'll get the information on the Australian Bush Poets website there. And I'll put that link up there as well in the description. The other thing, we've got the Lamb and Potato Festival coming up, and I have designed a wonderful range of Guyra lamb and potato t-shirts here. You know, some of these a beautiful cute lamb, it says Guyra Lamb and Potato Festival. There's some black sheep, there's a potato holding a sign saying haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potate. And you can get them from the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame.com.au/store. And they're print on demand, so I don't have to hold any stock, and we're not left with stock, and we're not wasting resources. So they just mail them straight out to you once you buy them. And then we've got on the 20th of January, we've got Wayne Donnelly in the comedy hypnosis show that should be hypnotising. And the 21st is the Big Hairy Bush Dance Band. But what I'm really excited about is during the Lamb and Potato Festival at 2 o'clock on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 18th, 19th, 20th and 21 is the Thundercloud's Australian Poetry Show here at the Poetry Hall of Fame. So it fits in really well with the Lamb and Potatoes program. They'll have their music, which goes from 12 to 2, and then you'll be able to head on over here and catch the Australian Poetry Show here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. So yeah, that's the news. Now I've got some poetry for you. I've got this book here, 60 Australian Classics, that I'm going to read out of. I was not so prepared, but I have found the one I wanted to do. It's a Les Murray poem, and it's called The Mitchells, and the Mitchells is in inverted commas too, so it's just referring to, you know, a general kind of like colonel farmer's name. All right. I'm seeing this. Two men are sitting on a pole. They've dug a hole for, and will, after dinner, raise, I think, for wires. Water boils in the prune tin. Bees hum their shift in unthinning mists of white. Berseria bloom under the noon of wattles. The men eat big meat sandwiches out of a styrofoam box with a handle. One is overheard saying, "Drought that year? Yeah, like trying to farm the road." The first man, if asked, would say, "I'm one of the Mitchells." The other would gaze for a while, dried leaves in his palm, and looking up with pain and subtle amusement, say, "I'm one of the Mitchells." Of the pair, one has been rich, but never stopped wearing his oil-stained felt hat. Nearly everything, they say, is ritual. Sometimes the scene is in an avenue. And that's it. The Mitchells, yeah. Wow. Yeah. And the other one that I've got chosen here for you is a Lesbia Harford poem, and it's so it was written in 1917, 10 years before her death in 1927, aged 28. So she died quite young. So this was written when she was 18. It's called "I'm Like All Lovers, Wanting Love to Be." Maybe I need to put on a girl voice for this. I'm like all lovers, wanting love to be, a very mighty thing for you and me. In certain moods your love should be a fire that burnt your very life up in desire. The only kind of love then, to my mind, would make you kiss my shadow on the blind and walk 7 miles each night to see it there, myself within serene and unaware. But you're as bad, you'd have me watch the clock and count your coming while I mend your sock. You'd have my mind devoted day and night to you and care for you and your delight. Poor fools who each would have, the other give, what spirit must withhold if it would live? You're not my slave, I wish you not to be. I love yourself and not your love for me. The self that goes 10,000 miles away and loses thought of me for many a day. And you love me for loving much beside. But now you want a woman for your bride. Oh, make no woman of me who can, or I will make a husband of a man. By my unwomanly love that sets you free. Love all myself, but least the woman in me. Yeah. Beautiful. Now the other book that was some 60 classic Australian poems that I read that out of, with commentaries by Geoff Page. That's this book, published by University of New South Wales Press. The other one I've got here, Oxford University Press, the Oxford Book of Light Australian Verse. So we'll move into something, well, hopefully a bit humorous. Selected by R.F. Brissenden and Philip Grundy. This, who I've never even heard of. I have heard of Brissenden actually, but Grundy no. Published in 1991. Yeah, this book. It goes from Marcus Clarke to banjo. It's got Kenneth Slessor, Artie Fitzgerald. Yeah, a lot of famous Australian poets. But tonight I'll be reading from this one here. So Sheila, I think I got Nancy Keesing. So Nancy Keesing was not only famous as a poet, but also as an editor. So she, along with Douglas Stewart, worked together to collate and edit quite a few Australian poetry anthologies and compilations, including some really old stuff that she put together as well. But she was a poet in her own right. This one is called Reflections on a Guest Speaker. Scrubbed clean, steps, halls, chairs, girls, but mocked by chalky air that will not settle. The school assembles, mums arrive, a stray dog slinks, reward of metal. Pile upon pile of shining books, wink at the carols, distract the speeches of always this important year and always time we live in teachers. Something or other, always peril, youth much wilder, never older, TV, pop songs, party, hair bleach, hidden just behind the shoulder. Of each dying year and never quite spoken, lurk baby's source of all the bother. Unconceived, we hope unborn, rioting in their wailing smother. Of washing, brick veneer, prams, lollies, dolls and kinder, primary, high. I have suffered 30 speech days, child, parent, speaker, and oh my. The other one that I've got marked here is by Isobel Robin. It's got a very, very long title. It's actually got a double title. The Invitreous Advent of Septimus, or Don't Freeze Your Assets in the Sperm Bank, Dad. I know. What a title.
Jeez.
Yeah. The Invitreous Advent of Septimus, or Don't Freeze Your Assets in the Sperm Bank, Dad. There was panic in the common room, commotion in the lab, and the chief researcher poured himself a drink. For his blonde research assistant, while escaping from his grab, had slipped and spilled the ova down the sink. There was consternation, conference in an instant seminar, and the junior on the team was seen to squirm. For just 1 second earlier, he'd emptied out a jar of superfluous, thawed out, unwanted sperm. Summon the technicians, call a plumber, call a nurse. God knows what's down there, heaven knows what brews. With a wrench and spanner rampant, with a grunt and with a curse, they sought for sperm and ova in the ooze. Now, one brave spermatozoan, sensing destiny or fate and heading where his instinct seemed to point, went zooming through the plumbing till he found his ovoid mate and merged with her down in the elbow joint. With cheers and with eurekas, it was filtered from the sludge, it was cared for and was cosseted and prized. For the chief researcher knew for sure that no one would begrudge its right to life, now it was fertilised. But who would be its mother? Who would nurture and gestate? What warm, responding uterus would bear? The blonde research assistant said, I'll be its surrogate. Well, after all, it's my fault that it's in there. Up spoke the anxious junior. Marry me, I'll be its dad. I never shirked a duty in my life. So the ovum found its sanctum and a bouncing little lad was delivered 9 months later to the wife. They called the baby Septimus. He flourished and won prizes at baby shows and later on at school. He won ribbons for athletics. He won cups of different sizes. He made the top cum laude keen and cool. A professor of genetics he became, the youngest ever, a few years after he had won the Rhodes. But if scandal strikes, it's useless to be wonderfully clever when excusing aberrative episodes. And scandal struck at Septimus. His singular conception had burned into his psychic counterpoint. In spite of icy showers, embarrassment, deception, he fixated on a nifty elbow joint. At governors' receptions, at parties and at balls, if they knew beforehand Septimus was coming, they would go before him. The word would go before him, echo grimly down the halls. He'll be here, hurry, lock away the plumbing. They'd find him in the laundry, they'd find him in the loo, tail over tip examining the pipes. He would steal a plastic bucket, pinch a monkey wrench, unscrew and search for siblings of his own prototypes. It meant the end for Septimus. It ruined his career. He tried to find work as a plumber's mate, but he only found the dole queue. He declined, and now I fear he's unscrewing joints inside the pearly gate. So I beg with restraint and exploding supernova, go on tiptoes, hold your breath, and damn you think. Be careful when you're handling somebody else's over or tipping heaven knows what down the sink.
Beware of seminars. What's the story behind that?
That's Isobel Robin. So that's what she thought about. She thought there was a funny story about the semen and the ovum getting a conception in the sinkhole.
It's very funny. Yeah, reminded me of the man from Snowy River.
Yeah, he did have that sort of rhythm, didn't it? Yeah.
They're going on a journey, he said, she said.
Yeah, well. Well, look, that's actually. I've got one more here to read.
Yeah.
This is Bruce Dorr, weather forecast. I've just been told by one who knows that things are again underway, that the sails now tease with a genial breeze and the rigging's beginning to sway, that storms are past every hurricane blast, blowing clear out of breath in the bay, that any time now to the topmost bough Noah's raven will burst into song. In my innocent youth I have taken this truth and I pass the good word along, in another bar to some other galah, for nothing, gratis, free. Had I not overheard the same wise bird who told me good and strong, tell the bloke over there with a similar air of confidence as he told me, that the skies were lowering, the problems towering, the best years certainly behind, that the winds were up and the seas getting rough and the ship was steering blind. There were reefs ahead and the captain dared, and the less said the better for the crew, but that, bound to the mast, we might just outlast the worst that this storm can do. Yeah, oh, you know about that, being having been at sea there, Vincent?
Yes.
Well, what about you,
Have you been a seaman?
He's old fisher, that's why he smells a bit fishy.
Yeah.
Now, what, do you want to come up, Ashley, or have got one more to do?
Oh, I'm writing a second poem.
You're writing. Well, look, I'll get Paul one up after this.
Okay.
I've got one here that I'm going to find for you. This is one of the ones that I've written over the last week. But I'm not going to do all of them. I just got to find them. Yeah, here we are. All right. This is a bit of a surrealist one. Okay, this happened on the 29th of December. In a cave in the middle of a mountain lived two weird trolls who had a very large collection of Cabbage Patch dolls. Their names were Billy O'Adam and Dong Snot. They were tattooed. Their names were tattooed on the backs of their hands, as they often forgot. In the night, they'd leave some of their dolls in the forest as bait to lure fairies to come and be their guest. Then they'd trap them and take them home in a crate and eat them for breakfast, because fairies taste great, especially when they're served with a little bit of honey. It sweetens the taste of the clown fairies, which taste a little funny. Billy O'Adam likes to boil the fairies in water, but Dong Snot eats them raw, just the way that he oughta. And that's it. That was just a little one where I was having a bit of a,
Troll.
Yeah, a bit of a troll episode, yeah. Well, did you know that diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes.
Boo!
And if Gabriel was here, I'd ask him about the constipated accountant. He couldn't budget. Yeah.
Do you work it out with a pencil?
Yeah. All right. Hey, what's brown and rhymes with Snoop? Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Snoop.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah, no worry. That's all right. The audience is too old.
Yeah.
Children are like farts. I love my own, but everyone else's are awful.
Yeah.
Have you seen that new movie, Constipated? It hasn't come out yet.
Oh, yeah.
But what about that other new movie, Constipated 2? No, I saw it with diarrhea and shit myself in the cinema. Yeah. Shit jokes aren't my favourite, but they are a solid number 2. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, I would like to ask Paul on to come on down.
Oh, wow, right.
They were in poor taste.
They were, weren't they? Yeah.
Got him here, James. I got him here. Now, and this fella's not an alcoholic. He's a dedicated bottle collector. Now this fella smacked the hippie so hard that his own charm bracelet and peace necklace fell off. Now this fella as a child got massive head injuries because he got a massive head. And now, very sad news, this fella's Uncle Fred drowned in a bowl of Cheerios. Never got to say goodbye. And this fella joined the Oxford Debating Society, but got talked out of it. Now, give this fella a great hand. Yeah. Yeah.
She's going to get the spinning wheel now.
You're really. Spin us a yarn.
Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, 2023, because of cutbacks in economics, James has denied me of a microphone so I can feature and amplifier, so I'll just carry on the same. Now tonight, I've just decided to have a question and answer night. I've got nothing prepared. I've got the usual sort of twat that I can go on with, but nothing sort of formal. I just thought I might throw it open to the audience for any questions and answers on the opera, the movies, motorbike racing, bodybuilding, boxing.
Who's your favourite poet?
Well, I've got to say, James, it would have to be me. But only in the amateur category. Only in the amateur category.
Gory.
Gory is the word, because as we know, most of my stuff come off the dunny wall. I could prattle on. I think there's some very great words of wisdom. He who writes upon this wall has no something brains at all, but he'd like to show his wit by slinging shit all over it. That's one of the classics. Now that's been written on every dunny wall from infant school to the White House. Sorry.
I've never read it.
No. Now, Vincent, do you have a request?
Oh no, I have a question.
Yes.
I love your shirt.
I do too.
Queensland? Or in Queensland?
Yeah.
Yes.
I might be able to get you a pup off it if you hang around long enough. Yeah, this is my.
No, I had one very similar. Someone stole
alcoholic Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, it's my alcoholic Hawaiian shirt. And
Alcoholic Hawaiian shirt.
for those people that don't know me, I spent a lot of time in Hawaii drinking. A lot of people don't know that. And this shirt came from some of those boozy sessions with all those great surfers and celebrities.
Was that with Scott Morrison?
It could have been. It could have been. And yeah, could have been too, James. And we're running a bit dry up there, so there's not much coming up from the audience.
I was just trying to think of another question for you.
Oh, thanks.
About motorcycle racing.
Yes.
Hansford, is it? Was his
Hansford, yes.
Oh.
Greg Hansford with the
That's
double G.
it, Greg Hansford, yes.
Yes, now Greg was a Queensland road racer that became a vice world champion. Now, I was a runner-up champion in a championship, but Greg was up at the world level, and he was regarded as a great rider. He was a great rider, very, very great thinking man. He didn't like to have anything to do with racing when he was in his caravan. He suffered from homesickness in Europe, as a lot of people do. And Greg got second in the World Championship. He should have probably won a World Championship, but some Aussies don't do well, and they can't bear with the twat that goes on in the European and Italian political way of life and things like that. He didn't do well with that. And but Greg was a marvellous rider and spectacular to watch. The guys who can really ride, they make it look easy, and they're very spectacular. And they're always on the power, because it's the power you're putting through your tyres that keep them interested in the road. Now, as I'm talking away, James is fiddling about with his charm bracelet and paying no attention at all, because James is not that interested in road racing, but Greg Hans was one of the great men. Great Australian, great Queenslander. Died in a car accident. Yeah.
Okay. Is it true in your motorcycle race, would people do this? If you're overtaking someone, would you in front reach out and just click their front brake on?
No, it has been done. And in the funny days, in the funny pissy days, when everything was a riot, when everything was funny, hey, and people had a sense of shame and had a sense of humour, etc. Yeah, those things were done, right? There was crazy things done and all that madness done, turning keys off, going up the straight, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that was done. Well, now, yeah. But I mean, putting a wheel where it's not wanted, floating in on someone.
Yeah, no.
It's a dicey business, And I mean, some of the bad looking stuff is because at every moment everyone's on the verge of disaster and on the verge of being out of control. So those things do happen. They have happened. Guys kick another guy out, go in a corner, give him an elbow, all that sort of stuff. We all do. Well, we've sort of all been part of that. I try to sort of play it clean, but I've seen a few guys come off, and it's surprising that when you're racing, especially when you're on fast curves and there's someone around you, it's funny because you lose a sense of speed, you get a strange sense, and when they crash, they seem to accelerate. And as they're flying up the dirt beside you, at maybe 150, 180, or even 200 something k's, it seems to coil you in. It's a very strange thing. So, you know, racing is a sport where, or a practice where the standard is set by that lemon in front of you, and what you do about it's up to yourself. The standard's set by the guy in front. Whether that's an accident or design, whether he's better or worse, doesn't matter. If he's in front of you, you've got to do something about it. What you do about it's entirely up to yourself, and that can be a risky business. Yeah.
I just heard of people doing that. That was all. I just thought.
No, the people who do it probably. It's funny. I've been doing it a long time, and the people. In fact, I was going to give a talk tonight. And I thought James might sort of prohibit or ban or censor it. I was going to give a call out to a lot of a group of good old Queensland road racers I've been a fan of. But I didn't do it, and I'd have to write their names down. James had to call their name up so I could talk about it, because I wouldn't be able to read it out here or something. But I might leave that for another time. You know, when I talk about the boxing, James heavily censored it, and maybe I'd hope that
you censored yourself.
yeah, that's it. So, but we might talk about the bike racing and the great people. Give a call out to those people who have risked everything and have basically got nothing back. They're just men walking down the street. But they're very brave and men with great land and great dedication to a very dangerous thing. No money.
Oh, good.
Okay, now, seeing as this is such a busy night tonight, and there's so many people here queuing up to get on board, I'm gonna smash it down, squeeze it, condense it down, process it down to quite a small amount of time to give everyone else a go. And again, big call out to Misha, big call out to Johnny, big call out to Julie, big call out to Marty, Caroline. And again, all the people out there in TV land that watch the show. Now tonight, because it's another new year, and I think around this time, New Year's Day or something, 1953. I think that's when the great Hank Williams died of exposure in the back of a Cadillac car with a kid driver. And as happens to some people that are heavy drinkers, it's not the drink that kills them; it's the exposure due to their vital signs. And that's what happened to Hank. They couldn't revive him. He was dead and cold when they got to a truck stop. Now Hank died a very old man, a withered, old, worn-out man at 29. The famous Hank Williams. And so tonight I'm going to do a couple of Hank songs, and they're typical of Hank because the Hank songs are autobiographical to some extent. He was married to a very hard-ass woman called Audrey, who was, although Hank was a hellraiser and a party goer and a, shall we say, a womanizer, and come on board, Saul. So, come on down, Saul. Don't be shy.
Plug this in.
Plug in, yeah. Yeah, I just talk amongst the people. That's it, Saul. Good man. You understand? Yeah. Hey, for ladies and gentlemen, like, yeah.
Was he a really hard drinker and raging person, Hank, was he?
Well, most alcoholics don't like drink, but he was plagued all his life with bad health. He was a very sickly person. He had spina bifida. He tried to disguise that. That's a very serious spinal injury. It wasn't very well understood.
And people that had these very chronic conditions in those days, they generally would define to bed and died.
Right.
You know, they were cared for at home as best people could with a bed, and then they died. So, including people with those strange diseases, which now are everyday and are managed, but spina bifida, right, is a very great problem today, even then. But I don't think there's any good medication. And Hank medicated himself with alcohol. But Hank wasn't a lush alcoholic. He was a binge drinker. And there's stories by the Drifting Cowboys. Hank was a superstar and a great performer, a magnetic guy. And his band was called the Drifting Cowboys. And the stories that come from the Cowboys, he had a wild-ass wife called Audrey, and she was, that'll be the phone, so.
Doctor Who's TARDIS has landed.
The day I was born.
Send it back to.
There we go.
Come on, so.
That's some phone tone.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going all wet. It's too sexy. Everything about is a bit too sexy. So
Cue erotic hound dog.
I do my best.
I'm fattening up just thinking about it, so.
Sex.
Yeah, so anyway.
There goes our G rating.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, James, I'm just suggestive. No, I'm just suggestive. Yes, the legend goes that his wife would catch him, like, carousing or something, and apparently when he was very badly drunk and couldn't get him up, he would drink until he passed out. And she came in, tried to get him up, and the boys couldn't get him up, the Cowboys couldn't get him up, and apparently she actually broke a bottle over his head. Now, to break a bottle on a man's head, a bottle is much harder than a man's skull. And she broke the bottle apparently, but I mean there could be a bit of bullshit about that, we don't know, but even so, it might be a thin bottle, I don't know, but she was supposed to have broken a bottle over his head. He he stood up and she dragged him out and disappeared. So she was a very hard-ass person, Audrey, and of course most of his songs he wrote about his besotted love to Audrey, even though he was a womanizer, etc., etc. And that was his downfall. That was when what happened. When he was suffering very badly with the spine bifida and things like that. I mean, he was only 27, 28 years old then. Suffering very badly. They bought a house, and Audrey would go out partying, and he couldn't go out, he was too sick. And one of the times that she went out, there was a song called Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town, where the old soldier gets the gun out because Ruby's going to go to town and party. Well, that's exactly based on Hank and Audrey's experience. And Hank got his six gun. Hank got his six gun and shot 6 rounds through the door as Audrey went out, blew it over her head. And she said, I'll never spend another day with you. And that's it, that was the end. And that was the downfall. And he was dead very shortly after that. He was dead very shortly. Of course, that sent his drinking through the roof. And
his songwriting.
Huh?
And his songwriting for a short spell.
Well, he said that the songwriting was from the heartbreak he's suffering, like the suffering he had with his love for his wife. He did have a passionate love for his crazy love for his wife. And a lot of the songs he wrote, You Win Again, these great songs that he wrote. But a lot of the songs were sort of autobiographical. And he said that he used to read comics and things like that, and he was considered to be infantile in some respects. He said, I read those comics because I get the phrases out of love magazines and broken heart magazines from the songs, and that would be a very good resource because it is poetry, it is prose in those things. So that he used comic stories of romantic comics to get some of his lyrics. But in a kind of a sense, even the song I'm going to sing is rather autobiographical, right? And he, of course, coming from the south, the imprintation of the hardship of those people from the loss of the Civil War was very strong, and the people there were very poor, very poor. So, and lamenting, they lamented. They were men. He did it. Hank had a pseudonym. He had another act called Luke the Drifter. And Luke the Drift will do monologues, just very sad stories, spoken songs, rhythmically spoken, with a bit of music behind, with the cowboys. And one of them was called Men with Broken Hearts. And one night I'm going to do it.
Nice.
When my heart's breaking and I'm lick it up enough, I'm going to do it.
How often does your heart break there?
Quite often.
Okay.
Quite often.
We'll get it soon.
No, my heart's broken quite often. Just a thought can take a broken-hearted man.
Revel in your heart.
I am a man
but
of constant sorrow.
Yes, I'm a man of constant sorrow too. And joy as well. We're up and down. We're not. We don't.
awesome.
We have the highs and lows. We don't want to get in the middle, like as some sort of milk bar infesting crumb bum that all I do is listen to the news. We don't be like that, do we?
Down
Aye.
at the jukebox with Hank Williams.
Well, it could be worse in 2023, Ashley. Right? So, Ed Moisture James will start me up. I might do my first Hank song.
I like Hank Williams.
I like Hank. I'll deputise you, Vincent, because James is he's preoccupied with his screen for his next offering. So
I love your
I'll pass
pseudo
it.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going good. It's going good.
I wasn't even aware it wasn't a microphone.
Yeah, Ashley.
Well, bullshit baffles brains. All right.
I was so taken in
Okay.
by a sad story. It is a sad story.
I'm all yours, Paul. What do you want?
Okay. Thanks.
No, Paul.
Thanks very much, Vincent. This one's called Lonesome Whistle. Join in.
Train song.
It's a train song.
It's the lonesome whistle.
I was riding number 9, heading south down Caroline. I heard a lonesome whistle blow. Got in trouble, had to roam. Left my gal and left my home. I had the lonesome whistle blow. Just a kid acting smart, I went and broke my darling's heart. I guess I was too young to know. They took me off the Georgia main, locked me to a ball and chain. I heard a lonesome whistle blow. All alone I bear the shame, I'm a number, not a name. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. All I do is sit and cry as the evening train goes by. I heard the lonesome whistle blow. I'll be locked here in this cell till my body's just a shell and my hair turns whiter than snow. I'll never see that gal of mine, Lord, I'm in Georgia doing time. I heard the lonesome whistle blow.
Bravo! Bravo! So we don't know what crime he committed, do we? Except the crime of falling in love.
Exactly. Yes, it's an honest tragedy that happens a lot even in this town. Now, would you like another Hank song?
Yeah, give us another. You can sing them all night to me. I like those songs.
Okay. Now,
More melancholy.
well, wait a minute. I just had to. I'm so forgetful. Like I got such a head full of shit, right? That I can't remember anything. I don't want to remember anything. And I can't read. That doesn't help. All right. Now the second song. Is a great song. Another great Hank song. Another great sad Hank song that causes you to contemplate the thing. And this one's called Lost Highway. I'm a rolling stone, all alone and lost. For life or sin, I had paid the cost. When I walk by, all the people say, just another guy on the lost highway. Just a deck of cards and a jug of wine. And a woman's lies make a life like mine. On the day we met, I went astray. I started rolling down that lost highway. I was just a lad, nearly 22. Neither good nor bad, just a kid like you. And now I'm lost, too late to pray. I wanna pay the price on the lost highway. Now boys, don't start to a rambling round on the road of sin, or you're trouble bound. Take my advice, or you rule the day. You started rolling down that lost highway. You started rolling down that lost highway.
Yo.
Great line, isn't it? Rolling down the lost highway.
Come on, Jones.
All right, thank you, Paul. What have I got for you now? Before Paul, Hank Williams, thank you, Hank.
Thanks, Hank.
Yeah, and here I am. I'll just pull up the one that I'm about to do for you next. Okay, this one. Oh, once again, thanks to Greg for a reason to party. Finishing the 2022 leg and 2023 is starting. Oh, Greg, you are Gregorian. But the only thing you rhyme with is Mandalorian and Victorian. Greg, I wish you Happy New Year, and at midnight you give yourself a cheer, because I just want to say to you, Greg, duh, because it's the only thing that rhymes with Gregorian calendar. That's it. Well, you know, it's very random that Greg decided, okay, we're going to make it this day with the new year. Yeah. Good old Greg. Pope Greg.
Pope Greg.
Pope Greg, yeah. Yeah. He just didn't watch out for that stop sign though, did he?
No.
Greg, the stop sign.
Oh, make that yours.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Chisholm.
Exactly.
Whoa, this is serious,
very
Mum.
serious, Mum, yeah.
Did a pope die today?
Yes, another couple of days ago.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, the ex-Pope, Benedict.
Yeah.
You should read A.D. Hope's great poem on the death of the Pope when he's in the Yankee University.
That's what I read
in-
the other
in
day.
memoriam.
Last week, didn't I?
Oh, have you read that poem?
I've read that, yeah.
Oh, the autumn leaves. And
Yeah. This one's called Guidance. Why? A friend of mine, his name's Pondia Akashik. He's been living on a houseboat in Moreton Bay, and he was asking for guidance about whether he should move to Canungra. And this is what came out. It is elemental, you have great potential, all pain is mental, let the heart rule central. Hope and strive, celebrate life, avoid strife, remember to thrive. But what is a forest if it isn't for rest? You're brilliant, be your best. The outside is a mirror, our test. Get out of bed and get dressed. Heaven above, as above so below. treat yourself to love. 1, 2, 3, go.
Really good.
Just, that was written about, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Where's he want to go?
Canungra, which is west of Advanced Town,
Just
what do you
west
call it?
of,
The Gold Coast.
Oh, so he can take his houseboat.
No.
Oh,
Just sort of
Oh,
west
okay.
of Mount Tambourine, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I thought he might
Yeah.
take it that was moving his houseboat.
Oh,
Right.
it's a fantastically beautiful place. It's the road, the bottom of the road up to O'Reilly's National Park, Lamington National Park. There. Yeah. All right. Well, what about Ashley? Are you ready?
What about him? He's still alive.
Yeah.
Living in difficult times. But he's a good quality whinger. He's a good quality whinger. He's a bit of a singer.
None of us will ever have 22 on our bloody history.
22, you mean 2022?
2022
Well,
on our history. We've all made it through that.
I've got this feeling I'm going towards this sculptural object here to kiss it.
I
Okay.
might catch a jam now, man.
I wouldn't
I can't quite hear you, Ashley.
I wouldn't want to end without my dear triadics, my dear friends. Hi, hypothesis. Kissing mood tonight.
They rule your life, don't
They rule my life.
You get next, man?
Implication.
have a go?
The implication is that I'm scared of disassociation and discontinuity, and I've got to bring these three sticks of the wicket every week to hold myself together from
Well said, Alfred.
the last
they're
one
not sticky tape.
is parameters. Well, while everyone can get to the Poets Hall of Fame and watch James and his love life, I indeed have a measure of parameter. I have a rule. Yeah, his love life is the English language, I suspect. Okay. So that's me for levity. I wrote a couple of poems while I was sitting thinking about Hank Williams freezing to death in his whatever it is. And I've been sitting out at the Mother of Duck Lagoon today thinking about Vince's dog who fell in love with me when I did this.
You got a big organ, mister?
Came up. He came up. I'm getting excited. So the dog. And Vince said he's never heard that before. And he went up like this, and his eyes glued to mine. And I had a moment of transcendence. Okay, so I've been sitting at Mother of Duck Lagoon, imagining if I had eight people doing that with different styles of rich formants. I'll start where I ended. You mentioned dear old Bruce. He was a really fine human being, Bruce Dorr. So say many people.
That's what he
So
said.
I wrote this in his honour. He was a wonderful guy. He impressed me, Mr. Dorr. I was lucky enough, as I said once before here, gee, this reminds me of a microphone. I'm getting fetishistic as I start to swim through my 70s. Well, I was lucky enough to have 2 hours conversation with him one day in a corner. And as I said once before to this screen, oh, he loved Mr. Keating. Not. Okay, here we are. Bruce Dorr. We are bringing you home. Those workmanlike settings of words swinging through the media across the landscape of headline. Bruce, we are bringing the choppers from the many uncivil wars across to the stilled ways, where the eye for ethics you eyed weighs and measures all fates, not least your own. Bruce, you're resting at the crossways where the prams go rolling on, and the Hawthorns, St Kilda babies cheer their gear, baptising the family in their tribal song. Bruce, you will, you were, you are always at home, casting your eye across the veggie patch. Do the weeding, do a coffee for friends, quickening walks beneath autumnal trees, do a pile of student essays, look up on the wall where I didn't put the to-do list but I remember, and do a poem just after and before the wild exuberance from echoing song. And I just put down the bottom for Bruce Door.
Ashley, have you got any John and Nuno's for us tonight?
Sorry?
You got any John
No,
and Nuno?
nearly. I've had a trepidation. I've had an intimation of John and Ono and Baz the Baz
They have fallen out, did they?
walking up and down. walking up and down
Bridge Street.
in drag in what's the main street of Wagga Wagga? Up past the pubs where the military go in after they graduate and get drunk and have that bonded camaraderie before they go off to perform
That sounds good.
whatever they do.
Thank you.
Well, I won't decry them because my dad was one of them, and also my nephew is a gunnery officer of a type. What is that street? The main street at Wagga
I've
with
never
the
been
dog,
to Wagga in my
the
life.
dog lip, the dog turn up the top. Not
Lots
Ben,
Doesn't
not B.
matter.
It starts with B.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
of clothes.
But how about reprising an old one, Ashley? Have you got no new ones?
No, I haven't got anything with that, but they're coming along shortly. They might even become visual presences at Guyra before long.
We might be able to get James to puppetise them. Well,
Turn on the wok. Cooking up thoughts. Thoughts are cooking, but facile saying so, isn't it? Just turning around like German grammar. Cooking up thoughts. Thoughts are cooking. But it swings the song along. Thunder in the air, how poets edify themselves. Storms over all the eastern New South Wales. Cricket called off. The ghost bowler soaked, sits Buddha-like through the wash-out innings. As New Year visitors wend their way to high-rise and family pubs, the hat trick awaited, lost now through sifts of rain. Stumble, rumble, rumble, stumble. There, the poet goes it again. Cheap tricks, aren't they, of syntax and alliteration. Stumble, rumble, rumble, stumble, lit the altar of 3 sticks. He's into 3 sticks, this wicketer cricketer of the
And must be
subconscious.
rulers.
Lit the altar of 3 sticks. Those mighty wickets, monks bat and battle off the swinging devil ball. The lightning seracs electrically the coming gloom across the wickets in incandescence. So, I was sitting at Mother of Duck and in between playing me whistle and thinking about what birds are coming in and going out migratingly from that beautiful, calm, epic spot, I was listening to the cricket being postponed on the radio, and a few Christmas tests at the Sydney ground now have been hit by storm, and it costs the city socially and economically, because I was saying to James as a Queenslander that thousands of people from all over the continent come into Sydney to do business, to stay two or 3 weeks, to do business and have their social integuments, and go to the cricket where they can relax and maybe do clearer, better business because they're relaxing in between the great drama of the Trinity of Sticks being blasted to kingdom come. So there's a bit of social history of my continent. I'll finish with, because I'm thinking of coming to Guyra to live, so I suppose this poem has some connection to that. My retreat by the Jongnan Mountains by one way. Midway through life, I set my heart on truth, and have come to end my days by the South Hills. When the mood takes me, I stroll out alone, my pleasure shared by none. I walk to where streams rise, sit watching as the clouds drift up the sky, and meeting with an old man, that's me, isn't it, I'm thinking of there. The old man meeting a young man, thinking he'd like to be a young man, talking along unbeknownst to the clouds, and meeting with an old man in the woods, talk and laugh with him, forgetting to return. Well, that's a boast, isn't it, of Mr. One Way. I finished with what I was reading this week. I read 4 or 5 times this week the wonderful essay of Hilaire Belloc that I recommend to all, Mowing the Field. I read it 3 times, I listened to it on the computer. It's an extraordinary piece of the English language. And I was at the Poets' Do last night at Armadale, and I mentioned this, and blah, 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 and Brian Neville, who's a very good writer, opposite me at the table, quoted it by word, line by line, quite a slab. And I thought, thank you very much. Do go and read Hilaire Belloc, B-E-L-L-O-C, Mowing the Field. It's as profound as the title. Goodbye, microphone.
Ashley,
great writer, Hilaire
Ashley,
Belloc.
will you regale us with Horatius at the bridge?
Another day. Give us another Hank
No
Williams.
instruction, no.
Another Hank Williams, but no Philippic on it.
Oh, here's Jane.
Yeah. You're a naughty boy, Paul.
Hey Saul, are you ready? Or I'll do one. This one.
So just do one.
Oh look, I was thinking about this the other day because there was this I don't know what it's like a meme that came up online about the more educated you are, the more likely you are to suffer from delusions that you're highly intelligent. That was the meme. Referring to like doctors and teachers, of course, university professors who know their thing, but then they think they're really highly intelligent, but they don't have wisdom. So that's what I figured it as, and that was where the meme was coming from with the comments associated with it. And a lot of people think about intelligence quotient, IQ, but they never think about EQ or SQ or PQ.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah. Physical quotient. Becoming my best, dropping behaviours and habits that don't serve. Face and rise to each test. Intelligence quotient. I know what I know, and I know I don't know everything, plus I don't know what I don't know. Emotional quotient. No, anger and fear are egoic whisperings from irrational minds and are replaceable with love, compassion, all year. Spiritual quotient. Acceptance. Let go, all is one, interconnected, create. And like water flow. That's it.
Yo.
And I guess Saul, welcome Saul.
Baylor Street, Paul. Baylor Street
Baylor Street.
in Wagga, yeah.
We all knew that.
Baylor Street. It's got that.
He should have
dog
asked us, Ashley would have told you.
I thought it was High Street.
There you go.
It's a very fascinating street, actually.
I can't remember what
Got a
the
It was
lot
pretty
of
bloody
personality.
narrow.
It's
old world, it
it's
was a
long,
carcass,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's a
It's
long
got a
street.
wobble in it. Come on, son.
Hello everyone.
Hello, son.
Bit of a weird way getting up here.
Can you just get a bit closer to the microphone, Saul? We can't quite hear.
That better for you? You can hear it better now, can you? All right, okay.
I get it.
I'm much more comfortable like that too.
Get a bit of feedback.
Rock and roll star.
when I was coming up, I pulled over for a second to tune in my Bluetooth in the car, and I pulled back out and I went around the corner and there'd just been an accident like while I must have been in doing the Bluetooth. Car's upside down, and so I got sort of stuck in all the traffic. That's why it took a while to get up here.
Did they look as, were they all right though? You can go upside down and be all right.
There was,
It wasn't too bad.
I'm not quite sure. I didn't get close enough. I was about, half a dozen cars.
Was it on the pinch?
No, it was on the big straight just after the first straight after Sunny side. On the big straight there, 2 utes. Anyway, so yeah, it was a little discombobulated and I'm a little less ready than I sort of thought I would be.
I'll bobulate and you can...
Just in my head, I mean, look, I'm talking to it.
I'll bobulate and you can discom.
What's that?
I'll bobulate and you can discom.
Yeah, okay, so I thought I'd just, go to...
a burst of reality.
I thought I'd just read one that I have here that's just sort of a bit of a New Year's remembrance sort of one.
It's not X-rated, is it, Saul? I'm pretty young.
No. I was thinking I might just mumble out one of my songs after this that's not X-rated, but it's got all those kind of things in it. I love a little bit of innuendo.
It's a broadened beer night. It's no girls here.
So, this is one I've read before, and it's just sort of, I suppose, one of those have we forgotten kind of poems. Have we forgotten what it is to be human? Have we forgotten how to break bread? It's more than just being right and knowing. It's more than just keeping the family fed. How do we tell the poor there's no money? How do we stand for the wealth of so few? No change in our hearts leaves no change in the dollar. For the penniless, the homeless, and the starving maroon. Have we forgotten that light is a rainbow? Have we forgotten what Bob Dylan said? It's the colourful shades of the human condition that the masters of war want to turn all blood red. How do we fight for the gods of our choosing? How can so many people be wrong? We're not born with a god assignation. Everyone just wants to belong. I think I'll leave it. That don't need the chorus bit.
Very good.
That's just a little lighter.
Heartfelt.
Yes.
Now, you just have to bear with me while I talk to Miss Moneypenny to get the filing cabinet and get the next one out. Where are we at? And I'll sing me. This is, I wasn't going to do this, but the Hank Williams thing, I really just, gotta do a song, I don't sing very well, so I'm just going to sort of mutter it along. It goes, I could walk away tomorrow, but I wouldn't love you any less. Of all the crumpet that I've tasted, yours is the crumpet that I like the best. It's shallow, but it's true. Baby, I love you. If all the girls in the world were strawberries, you'd be the one with the dogged cream. When you said, let's meet again together, I once again began to dream. It's shallow, but it's true. Baby, I love you.
Whoa!
To be Jack Horner, his thumb stuck in the pie. To plumb the depths of your body, your soul, your mind. Every time I see you reflected in the moon, I shed a tear. It's you that sheds a tear within my eye. It's shallow, but it's true. Baby, I love you.
That has a song though, but it's like punk rock,
That's a poem for the bulls.
it has a song go, I love it.
It goes,
Oh, that's a funny one.
it goes, it's actually really slow and has all this tickety tickety tick.
Oh,
except where it goes into the, it's shallow, but it's true. It's shallow, but it's true.
That's enough, Saul.
All the
That's
girls
enough.
are going,
Saul, you're a man of passion.
it's shallow, but it's true. It's not a gift anyway, it's shallow, so it's okay.
Great. Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you want to hear? Another shallow song?
Yeah, we're already right.
We're not too deep, it's okay.
We might as well add another X to the record.
Okay. I'll see how I go remembering this. This is another sort of song I do. But I have them all recorded here. But it goes, from the distance to the darkness that keeps us both apart. The love I feel for you is a shining light inside my heart. I'll get it up. I'll get it up.
That's an appropriate phrase.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
As if by magic or by aggression.
So you're singing like a piano bar,
Yeah.
Nice and romantic.
Or Viagra.
Yeah.
I've got a poem here called The Year of Vince.
Really?
The angelic trumpets are calling you, Saul.
I've lost the plot here.
Maybe not.
Miss Moneypenny's lost the file.
Oh.
Hey. I had it this before. Okay, well, this is a poem. This isn't a song, but it'll do. It'll suit the purpose. I might have to self-edit as I go along. Another Hank Williams sort of feely sort of thing. Goes, why do I love you like I do? I look to try and find out why I love you like I do. Maybe it's in the clothes I wear. Do I dress up for effect? I strip them right away. No love lost, no love found. Finding you in finding me. The touch I felt upon me never seems to go. What makes me feel this way? Is it just skin deep? Maybe this is so. So I peel and strip away my hide. It seems it's permeated right on through, gone deep down into my insides. And there underneath my skin, my flesh is rippling in fraught anticipation of what that touch did impart. Interesting. That flesh runs so full of blood. So is my blood the source of this deep and driving force, this desire? I look towards my heart. That's what pumps it through all these veins and arteries. Is it my blood that's laced with you? It seems that it goes deeper still. I tear that flesh right off and let the blood all drain. There's a feeling in my gut. It has no doubt, unlike the feelings in my brain, which it seems has its wheel in a rut. I spill my guts and lose my mind, and now in silence I stand alone. No beating heart, no extra thought, no distraction to be seen. Now I stand, just my bones, and it's all become so clear to me that Cupid, when he fired that arrow, struck me deep, deep down into my marrow. Through my skin, through my flesh, my heart, my gut, my bones, indeed into my soul. It seems that you are part of everything that makes me want to care. From the stillness, I pull myself together and put my pieces back in place. Your face, your grace, your elegance, your beauty and your glow picks me up and writes me into every story that I know.
Wow, thank you very much, Saul. Well, we are coming towards the end of the evening tonight, and just because we are, this was, I don't want to talk to you. Hang on.
It's bizarre.
Where's that spoon? Yeah, there we go. I just got to get the love child of Ashley and Paul off there.
We were spooning.
Down
We're
the
going to
sink.
stick it down the sink.
Yeah.
We were spooning.
Yeah. All
Read
right.
the poem about the Pope.
The Pope.
A.D. Hope's poem about the Pope. I don't think you
well, I
have
don't have
it.
it.
Don't encourage
Yeah, not tonight.
Well.
This was this morning. There's a fella that walks past quite regularly every morning and whinges a lot. Like, he's always got critical stuff, but he's never got a solution for anything. It's always critical of the government, whatever government, whether it's a federal, state, local, whatever. But I was having a lovely breakfast this morning. Some people miss the best parts of life by focusing on all the struggle and strife. Respect and acceptance is the ointment without attachment and judgment. There's no disappointment. Sitting on a bench in the morning sun thinking about the great bits and having fun. Gratitude for the healthy fruit to eat, rainwater to drink, no shirt, bare feet. No news is good news. Bad news, no one's gain. Let go of being attached to all the world's pain. The outside is a mirror of your mental health. Peace comes from contentment and compassion for thyself. It's not everybody else. How you react is you. All his mind and attitude is important too. We are what we are, the world is what it is, living with passion, life is bliss. Thanks very much. And I'm going to take you for a journey back into 2019 before I came here to Guyra. It doesn't make sense. This was written for a friend of mine, Vince. What's his name? This is Vincent Stead over there, who organises all the poetry up in the Northern Rivers, a lot of it. And he sent me Happy New Year on the beginning of 2019, so I wrote this one. Thanks, Vince, for New Year wishes. You don't have to wash too many dishes. I'm sure this year is going to be big. It's the abundant Chinese year of the pig. 2019 is the year of poetry, and anyway, that's it. That's fucked.
Can you mention to anyone watching that this May at Nimbin there's a Back to the Aquarius Festival?
Yes, there is.
And
it's
it'll be a big one because we're getting older.
Oh, it's actually it's the 50th anniversary.
We're getting older.
Of the Nimbin. So May this year. So check that one out if you're over in Nimbin. Look, one day,
Elders a state of mind.
if you don't clean your laptop or your computer, you get these tiny little bugs that run around in them. And probably people don't know this, but they're everywhere. They're in the probably lounges and in your hair. Anyway, it's called bug in the machine. I have a little bug inside my laptop. There may be more than one. It's tiny and brown. It came out for a little run. It came out from my keyboard. It ran across my touchpad, went in a crack beside my left click button. I thought I was going mad. I have a bug inside my laptop. It has these little mites eating bits inside my laptop. They're taking megabytes I don't know what to do. Bugs are laughing, doing shits. There's a bug inside my laptop and they're leaving giggle bits. There's a bug inside my laptop. What I'm telling you is true. Laying eggs inside the motherboard and ramming my CPU.
Ooh.
I don't know how the CPU is, but
Hey, James, you've got another 5 minutes.
We have random access, random access memory.
Put
something
money
like that.
in your purse.
Yeah.
Put money in your purse.
And then this is another one.
There you go.
I don't have
To a
to.
fellow.
What have you got for us, Paul? A
No,
poem?
I just thought you might need another 5 minutes up there.
Not really,
You're
no.
running out of gear. No, yeah, carry on.
This is called the Daily Commute. This was written. Okay. So this was written as a passenger in a car on the Pacific motorway in a traffic jam. Watching the traffic jam go nowhere that way. We were going that way.
Riveting.
It's called, it was great. The Daily Commute. I'm only going to do half of it because the second half repeats the whole first half because it's a sort of you drone on with it. The Daily Commute. The daily commute, same road every day, driving 5 days a week just to get paid, sitting in traffic, leave early, late, home, SUV by yourself and the radio drones. Pull into BP, fries and coffee from Macca's. The daily commute is making me crackers in a long line of traffic. Part of the herd to a dormitory suburb, a battery cage bird. Cows in the feedlot, mass media program, fed news propaganda, this is life in Stockland. Slave day is over, time to go home, surrounded by traffic in your car all alone. Consumer capitalism makes you slave in your life, miss your kids' sport and too tired for your wife. Stuck in traffic again, ignore the frustration, but you're good for the economy, GDP of the nation. Can't wait to get home, get a glass of red wine. Fuck me, I'm only at exit 69 and the traffic is slowed down to a crawl. Sorry, I'll be too late to watch Johnny's football. I'm looking for a job close to home with good pay. I need to get out of this rat race today. The daily commute is doing in my head. When I get home, I just want to go to bed. 20 hours commuting just to survive. Little wonder I don't get ahead. Why I never thrive. Daily commute, same road every day, driving 5 days a week just to get paid, sitting in traffic, leave early, late, home, SUV by yourself and the radio drones.
Time for some Valium, James. And Jesus.
So you just start again and it just goes again.
Bruce Dore was a real visitor tonight.
Take some downs after that.
That's Mr.
Wow.
Dore's texture, isn't it?
I know how it
His
feels.
message.
It does make you real tired, stuck in
It does. It's a horrible thing. I mean, there was times, I think for 3 years I was doing 50 minutes each way, like for about 15 years of my life.
The Guyra Daleks Hall of Infamy.
Yeah, the Dalek boys too.
Dalek,
I can do 50 minutes, James.
That's it. That's
We
it.
are coming to get you.
The Daleks, the bugs in the machine, the year of Vince. The year of Vince.
Well, I'll try to get you next Wednesday. I'm going up north and I'll do it.
Will,
Take care.
thank you,
Paul.
Paul. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Saul. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, whatever,
If you
share
like
it
the
with your
Daleks,
friends.
you must be invincible.
Hey.
If any billionaire in California wishes to donate a
very
golden ruler
convincing.
that we can present